System. This is the Xenoxis show for the 27th of September 2025. This is going to be some candidates and stuff that I'm going to use PlayStation trophies just to check so I can remember some of the games that I got and stuff that. So first off, of course, on the candidates, on certain of the candidates, I am going to say like the percentage of it being on the actual Game of the Year list and stuff that, because remember like last year there was a bit of an issue because I was sick kind of during Christmas time or during winter time and stuff that like last year. So when I made a Game of the Year list, I had to throw out the previous list that I had made, like because I had like the whole thing that it was going to be several categories and then there were going to be rewards and stuff that, and I made like a shit ton of categories and I ended up with like way less categories and stuff that I had initially planned and stuff that, because I said that I like impulse deleted a bunch of stuff, but it was of course because I was sick and I had brain fog, and then of course I tried to like restore the stuff that I had and stuff that, but I like lost a lot of data and stuff that when a lot of files and even like stuff that I recorded that I previously I had it on the USB drive, some old recordings I done, like YouTube recordings that I had yet to like upload because I was just lazy and stuff that, and I had a plan to try and upload everything, and eventually I did move everything into the regular hard drive and stuff that, but then, of course, because I had never uploaded all the parts of the Legion comes with Xenoxis, for example, which I actually did finish that series. I finished like all the recordings even before Legion was always an expansion and stuff that, when there was just so much videos that I never got to upload and stuff that, and now those are gone forever, unless I still have them on the backup hard drive, but I don't have it currently plugged in because the backup hard drive actually sometimes caused issues with like making the boot up slower and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, so first off is going to be the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Yeah, I know it's a mouthful because you can see, for example, the first trophy I got here for it was on the 31st of December, so of course it couldn't be on the Game of the Year list because I think that I did the Game of the Year video. If I go in here, for example, it's in here. Yeah, Game of the Year award here, for example, Game of the Year awards, blah blah blah, and stuff that, and blah blah blah, and stuff that, Game of the Year, and then we have the different categories, and then the game that won was, of course, Game of the Year, Castlevania Dominus Collection, right, yeah. And I didn't have any like best story driven game, best anticipated game, best sports game, best action game, yeah. Yeah, and we didn't have any. Yeah, I didn't have, because otherwise I would have had, of course, Days Dead Rising on the previous one as well, so yeah. No. Right. And this is getting into here, okay, good. Just because sometimes it goes into categories and stuff like that, but sometimes when you use recording in the background, it gets like that, so yeah, so the Rising Deluxe Remaster, so yeah, so got it very, very late in December and stuff like that, so yeah. And I didn't finish it, but of course I did finish the original back in the day and stuff like that, but yeah. Because they kind of screw up at one point that I thought I had way more time, because they have changed it so that you definitely seem to have more time to do certain things that you normally have, but I kind of miscalculated my time, so I managed to fail the main like story and stuff like that, and stuff like that, and yeah. And I forgot if I did use multiple saves or not and stuff like that, but yeah, but it is of course used, because if you reach high level, of course it's just easier to go to the game again and stuff like that and do everything and stuff like that, but yeah. And I'm not like abusing the skateboards either and stuff like that, which you can use to abuse and stuff like that, so yeah. Then, right, and that's PS5, of course, obviously, so yeah. And, so certain games are technically, I believe, count as PS4 games, but yeah, so Live, PS5, and this is 100% on the Game of the Year 2025 list. Like that is just, like there are certain games that I just can confirm immediately and stuff that, like, and it's not really spoiling the list. Like if I would just say that, this is 100% going to be on the list, so yeah, so Live I platinumed that, and even though, you know, I did platinum it, as you can see here, and stuff that, on the 4th of February, actually on my birthday, I platinumed it. So it's pretty funny, and stuff that, so yeah. So there was a lot of things and stuff that, and the funny thing is the final trophy I left to get is actually after I finished the game, because I forgot to do one the first time, and that was the whole, it was during the prehistoric here, like the win the head counting minigame. This was the last trophy I got, basically this one, boom. 1, 2, 3 man win the head counting competition in the prehistoric chapter and stuff that's, yeah. And I thought that it was really, really good, because of course it was, you know, it never came out, I believe, outside of Japan and stuff that's, yeah, that's something. Octopath Traveler, yeah, even though I haven't played it super much yet, you know. I forgot if I had played the first one on a demo, or if it was only the second one, because I know that supposedly progress from your demo should carry over, but it might have been that I played the first demo on the Switch, because Octopath Traveler was normally for the Switch, because Octopath Traveler 2, I believe, came out immediately on the PlayStation, because Octopath Traveler came out a long time ago on the Switch, and then when the second game came out, I forgot exactly when the first game came out on the PlayStation and stuff like that, because it was both a PS4 and a PS5 game as well and stuff like that, and it probably says the date here. Yeah. Yeah, so PS4 June 5th, yeah, 2024. So it was actually released very, very late, so it took a while for it to actually come out on PlayStation and stuff like that, so yeah. So I haven't even gathered all the travelers yet and stuff like that, so yeah. But yeah. So yeah, so Octopath Traveler. And then PS5. Yes, PS5. Right, I need to play more of that, of course. I'm not going to include Fallout 4 because, yeah, you can see, just 1% or whatever, right? But I did have it on PS4, and it was basically like a free update that allowed you to have the PS5 version. But I thought for some reason that you were going to be able to like fully install it to not have to use the disc, because that is really annoying to have to use the disc. But then it seems like you cannot run it in the higher resolution graphics mode, because that seems to actually cause issues and seem to make like the game crash always, like in certain scenarios. Like in the intro, for example, it would always crash at a certain point, so I would have to restart the game and stuff that, which was a bit annoying and stuff that. So we're not going to put that on, of course. We're going to put the King of Fighters 15. The King of Fighters. The King of Fighters 15. Or just KOF is what it's normally called. It's never called TKOF. They just call it like KOF 15, like that. For example, like you never add that T to it when you spell it the other way and stuff like that, yeah. Then we have, of course, the Crysis. Well, I count that as a collection because it technically was a collection that I got for it with the remastered. So yeah. But I'm gonna have it all individually because, yeah. So Crysis Remastered. But yeah, I haven't played Crysis 2 yet. I mean, I had a Crysis 2 on PC, so and stuff that, because even though I don't have trophies for it yet and stuff that, it's just, I had both 1 and 2 originally on PC and stuff that, both 1 and 2 and stuff that, stuff that. And the cool thing was the first place that I had it on, I could still play with pretty high settings, but then of course later on, like going back and playing that, and stuff that, and there are mods for it, like it is crazy how good they can still look, and they have actually improved the Crysis games as well, so I'm gonna have all of them here and stuff like that. So I'm not have them as a collection and stuff like that, like I'm gonna have them each individually and stuff like that. And they are PS4 games actually and stuff like that, but they are of course playable on PS5, so yeah, so yeah. And I am trying to do like on the hardest difficulty. At first I didn't want to do it on the hardest difficulty and stuff like that, because there are some really annoying strats that you kind of have to do and stuff that, I feel like, because, there's at one point where no matter how careful you are, you're going to get kind of killed. So then I figured out, if I continue on the mission ahead, here I can activate a checkpoint that is actually further beyond the location that I actually had to go to, and then I basically made it so that I could get an extra checkpoint after I had killed like a lot of characters and stuff. That's because basically, if you say Crysis 1 here, for example, you actually need to be doing, for example, to get the first one there on the Delta difficulty, you need to clear several levels. You need to clear both Contact, Recovery, and Relic on Delta to get through it and stuff that. And then it's always in pairs of 3 here, so then it's Assault, Onslaught, and Awakening, and then Core, Paradise Lost, Exodus, Over-Reckoning. Yeah, it's 4 on the final part, but so yeah. And of course, when you're playing it on the highest difficulty, like you run out of the time, like you run out of the camouflage, like a lot quicker and stuff that. So there's a lot of how you play it and stuff that, changes quite a lot. And we have the Final Fantasy games. I'm not going to take individual. I'm going to take the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection. I don't know if I need to call it Remastered Collection or Remaster Collection. Yeah, that sounds more correct to say it that way, but yeah. Yeah, and it counts as a PS4 thing, so yeah. Now, I have played some of them less than I did on PC and stuff that, because of course 4 I almost went through completely on PC, except I didn't kill the final boss, but that was just because I was being stupid and using the bow and stuff that. And I had actually forgotten that in the original Final Fantasy 4, in the original game, you actually did run out of ammo for the arrows, but you don't do that on the remaster. So for example, the holy arrows are really powerful. You can do a lot of damage with the bows and stuff like that. But yeah. Am I gonna put Sonic Colors? I haven't played it enough, I feel like, to even put it. But I mean, the candidates are still candidates. Even if I play the game very, very little, it can still go into the candidates, because it just feels like that's just a way to make the game get more eyes on it, and maybe more people will consider buying it and stuff that, because Colors back in the day, was it on the Wii U Colors, or was it on the Wii Colors? I forgot what systems it was on originally, but yeah. And of course, Ultimate came out in PS4. It came out in 2021, so yeah, didn't play it that much yet and stuff that. Yeah, I played it very, very little and stuff that, but yeah. But sometimes I might just have a candidate, and then it's 0% anyway that it's going to be on the Game of the Year list and stuff like that, but yeah. Dragon Age. I'm not going to put Dragon Age there, because Dragon Age is just a game that you need to play way more of to have. Should I put the... Yeah, I should put that there. Because again, as I said, Ninja Turtles. Cowabunga Collection. That again is PS5. This is PS4, yeah. That's PS4, that is PS5. Right, and there's a lot of Turtles game. There's the NES Ninja Turtles game. There's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 arcade. Arcade game, but the N indicates that it's for the NES, because it is an arcade game that was converted. But then there is one that is an actual arcade game for an actual. So, and then you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fall of the Foot Clan, which is Game Boy, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Time. That's the arcade version of Turtles in Time specifically. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Back from the Sewers, Game Boy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 The Manhattan Project on the NES. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time SNES. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the Hypersonic Heist Genesis. Or Or, I mean, it could have said Mega Drive as well, you know, and stuff like that, because, you know, but I'm guessing it doesn't care about the whole PAL stuff that, yeah. And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Hero Turtles 3 Radical Rescue on the Game Boy. And then, of course, I didn't do the hardest. These two. There are ways to kind of do them easier and stuff that, like there's a way to abuse like a second player and stuff that, but you know. And the feature in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters Story Mode, that's on the NES, by the way. And then, of course, the other two here is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters Story, which is Super Nintendo, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, but that's on Genesis, so yeah. Oh wow, do they show both the percentages now? So 33.4%, and I believe the alternative there is actually what it is on the actual PlayStation and stuff that. Because on the PSN trophies, people can use like multiply counts and stuff that, so that's why certain other percentage is not correct. So actually it's 1.8% on the Platinum there, so yeah. So you know. I didn't know that they could show both of them and stuff that, so yeah. And stuff that, so yeah. Then, except after that, we have Lost Judgment. Like Lost Judgment, I haven't played a lot of. But keep in mind that there are certain games, as I said again, that it's just going to be like used because I know that the game is good and stuff that, and then it's just, you know, and it's just certain candidates won't even have a chance to be on the list at all. But then why have them as candidates and stuff that, right? And so that maybe the candidates should always be used all the games that I get during a year, but sometimes I'm not going to include certain games because certain games, to get a feel for them, you know, you need to play more, of course. Suikoden, of course, the old classics on original PlayStation. So we have both 1 and 2, of course, and 2. It's the remaster, and then it's called like what? And then the title of both of them, like so Gate Rune is the first one, right? It's called Gate Rune, and Dunan Unification Wars. Hey, that's a pretty mouthful. Not Forza Horizon 5, but I'm gonna actually put Gran Turismo 7 here, like because that is basically like. And I'm gonna specifically all updates during 2025 included. Now this is 100% on the Game of the Year 2025 list. However, maybe I should clarify that. Maybe I should do a little bit of a jump here to let me kind of try and explain here, like its position will be based on how early the very special December patch will come out. I know that's kind of weird phrasing it like that. Its position will be based on how early the very special December patch will come out. Because if it's like really late in December, then I might already want to do the Game of the Year show, because waiting for it on the final, like when is the final? If I go December here, December 30th is on a Wednesday and stuff that, and making a Game of the Year on that video, sometimes it can be really stressful, and then I might be sick and stuff that. So sometimes it is safer to do it like before Christmas and stuff, so things aren't like super mega stressful and stuff that, you know, because generally when the winter time is more stressful, and then you get sick more easily and stuff that, so yeah, you know. So yeah, because here's the thing, right, because December patch is spec 3, I believe, right? Yes, spec 3. December patch is spec 3. 2 new track F1. 2 new tracks. F1 Formula 1. Okay, F1. Formula 1, F1, you know, and stuff that, like, depending on what you want to call it, like F1 and stuff that, you know. Here, function key 1, yeah. and stuff that, and it's like B track and Canadian track, but it's not like the old Canadian track because there have been certain older like F1s that have disappeared. I still think I have the instruction manual for the like the PS1 game. I had one of the Formula games. I think I have 97. The Formula 1 game from 97 is the one I had on the original PlayStation. Or maybe 96. I forgot if it was 97. It might have been 98, but yeah. Because in that you could see what every single track was and stuff like that, and yeah, that is big of course. And then of course there is also like, you know, weekly rewards structure change, higher driver collectors level, higher driver collectors level, or whatever. I forgot what it was called exactly, but yeah. Old was level 50, and as I said, like it need to actually have actual, you know, it needs to actually have more stuff. That's of course PS5. Okay, I have collection level. What do you call it? Manufacturer tickets don't expire. So if you wanna buy a specific car for a certain brand, it now lasts forever. A certain, of course, certain manufacturers also have more than one car that requires a ticket. I'm pretty certain. I'm not like 100% certain on that, but yeah, because that is of course is very, very important, of course. So yeah, you know. So the manufacturers also have okay, pretty certain. What else is there? So yeah, because the weekly reward structure changed. So like it looks like there's going to be some things that are online, but maybe it's just that they say it's offline, but then it's just like a time trial. Because I really hope that it's not going to be like, oh, you have to do an online race, right? Like I don't mind doing like the casual online race that you don't lose any ranking to do and stuff like that. But here's the thing, right? If you force people into having to do online races and then they don't want to race other people, then that's going to feel really bad. And what then, right? Okay, is it just going to be complete online race? Because if it's going to be like, oh, get third place or better, then there's going to be a lot of people that are all of a sudden not going to be able to complete the like the online thing. Like then if you we're just going to bother people who are good at the online racing and stuff like that, and then that's just going to feel like horrible for certain people. But yeah, like new missions apparently as well, because that's kind of part of the whole weekly was that they're actually going to have more missions, like more like new missions, like, and I don't know if technically certain missions are basically almost like certain. It almost looks like certain of the missions, because I think they showed an example there for one of the weekly challenges, and it was something that sounded more like a mission, like, oh, this sounds like almost like a driver license mission, but like different and stuff like that. But I hope that it isn't going to be like, oh, complete a lap during like Nürburgring Nordschleife and without like crashing into a wall or or into like going off the track and then get at least a bronze or whatever, right, and stuff there, because, you know, I have done that track actually, but it's like, and there's a super hard version of it for not the regular licenses, but those super special licenses and stuff that are like high licenses that you don't need to get in the game to get like a trophy or anything, but yeah, you know. So yeah, new missions. I forgot what else there was. Yeah, 8 new cars. 8 new cars. 4 are already known, and the Xiaomi, I think it was. How do you spell Xiaomi? Xiaomi, I think it is Xiaomi. Instead of Samui. Because you do it like a sh sound, like a CH sound, kind of the Xiaomi. So yeah. And the Xiaomi is kinda likely to be one of the unknowns. Unless it's in October or November update, because keep in mind that the update we got lately was just the September update. But the thing is, right, that are they gonna skip a month then? Are they gonna skip a month to do the massive like December month, or is all that content already technically done and stuff? That is a question, you know, and stuff that, because yeah, and stuff that. And one of them, of course, is a I think it's a GR3 car, the Ferrari one and stuff that, which is a really big deal, by the way, because it's a Ferrari car that people have been wanting for a really, really long time and stuff that, you know, and you know. But of course, Gran Turismo 7, of course, because of that, you know, it'll be quite special, of course, because of all of that stuff and stuff that, you know. And there will probably be more than that, of course, because there will be like new events, likely a bunch for the 2 new tracks, because hopefully it will have like a lot of events, or at least like I would at least say like if they're gonna go with, I mean, there are certain stages have like 7 to 8 events. Certain stages have, I forgot exactly if there's a median to on how many races certain stages have and stuff that, but because yeah, you know, and stuff that, because it would be really bad. Like imagine if the 2 new tracks comes out and then there's only like, or like if one of them is like, okay, I'm guessing, right, that hopefully there's going to be something with a new Formula car or a new Formula looking car. Like hopefully all the Formula cars can have their own thing and stuff that on the F1 tracks and stuff that, like, you know, like you could have something with the Red Bull car, of course. You can have something with the 2 different Formula, or it's going to be 3 different Formula cars now that is in the Gran Turismo band, 3 different Formula cars. And of course you have the Super Formula, those cars as well and stuff that, you know, and you could have like events for all of those things. But then you can have all cars with other cars as well. So yeah, you know, so I'm really, really hoping that you're starting like a bunch of events and stuff that, yeah. Next up is of course the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion PS5. And yeah, and I'm not calling it remaster because that's not what it's called in its title. It's just called that. It's not even called with remaster. And it's just stars I'm not gonna put yet because I haven't gotten to the thing. The main problem is that I started like the reason why they took so long for me to get the platinum is because I was doing the golden trophy here. I was doing the what do you call it, the V10 was with Ultra Gambit on, and I began doing that actually late. There was I started doing it on the New Game Plus basically, as of that, which meant that I had to get up to a certain boss in order to get it. But I think I got it earlier than usual because I think there was some bosses near the end of the game, or not really super near the end of the game, but there was some bosses that I already defeated before I went into New Game Plus and stuff like that. But apparently you need to get to a certain point in the game to even get into the Throes of the Watchmaker, which is a bit annoying and stuff that, like, I thought that, oh, that should have been access to at any point and stuff that, but that's apparently not possible, which is a bit annoying and stuff that, because I didn't keep or I think I maybe kept my old save, but I didn't want to, like, go into that save. I wanted to do it on a New Game Plus file and stuff that, and, stuff that, but because of course when you're doing you have, like, way less health and stuff that, and then the locks are more, like, there are certain locks that are now, like, they're harder to break, or there's often, like, way more locks and stuff that, and you need to break them to even, like, be able to damage certain enemies or certain bosses or whatever, but of course, so I'm not gonna put that right unless I get into that, so we're gonna put Deltarune, of course, on as well, and Deltarune, of course, Deltarune is chapter 1, 2, 3, I think it is, right? Or chapter 1, 2, 4, chapter 1, or chapter 1 to 4, Chapter 1 to 4 is going to be included in that, so and sadly there isn't a trophy for getting the actual, getting the defeating, like, at the end of chapter 2, for example, like, I went with the path instead to fight Spanton solo at the very, very end and stuff that. And while I did die a few times, on the first night that I got to it, like, it was very, very late. And then I was just way too tired to do it, but then the next day, like, early on and stuff that, I did manage to eventually do it and stuff that, because basically you want to press out damage as much as possible, but then you also need to heal, and sometimes you need to kind of defend a bit and stuff that, and there's just, you need to get, well, not really lucky, but there are certain patterns that if you take too many hits on a certain pattern, then it gets really, really difficult. And there's also a trick that can actually kind of make you shoot faster, but if you do that trick, then you're actually going to be taking more damage or whatever it is, then instead, like, you take more damage and stuff that, so it's a bit of a risk to do and stuff that. And I had, of course, played it on PC previously before chapter 3 and chapter 4 had come out, because I believe when it came out on PC, chapter 1 was only available at first, and then it took a while until chapter 2 was available. And I played both chapter 1 and chapter 2 on PC and stuff like that, but I always wanted to get it on console and stuff like that, because I was basically waiting for chapter 3 and chapter 4 to come out and stuff like that, of course. And we don't know, of course, how long it's going to take, probably, unless they did it during the certain thing. Because there was a certain stream that I didn't watch that was like a celebration of. It was technically like an Undertale celebration and stuff like that, but and I don't know if they spoiled, like, because, I mean, it's chapter 4 is only halfway, right, because there's going to be 8 chapters in total, I think. Or maybe it's more than half through, maybe, I don't know, but anyway, Dead Island 2 on the PS5. I can 100% say, though, that this is going to be on the game, on the list, 100% on the game of the year 2025 list. 100% game of year 2025 list. Game of the year 2025 list. So Live and Live, and the Deltarune, that's the only ones that are, and Gran Turismo 7 that are, like, 100% used so far, at least, just 100% of those I can at least guarantee is going to be on the list. Stuff like that, Octopath Traveler is definitely still possible, but then I'm gonna have to play it a lot more. I'm gonna have to try and find time to, and stuff like that. The worst thing is, of course, that this year the PlayStation, like, Plus, like, even if you only have the Essential membership, there's been so many good games that has been this year. It's ridiculous. You had, like, Lies of P was pretty recently. Stardew Valley is available now also and stuff, or it was available during. It is still available, at least until I think it changes 7th of October, maybe it changes and stuff that, so you still have chance if you haven't gotten Stardew Valley and stuff that, Because Stardew Valley I did play it, of course, for a really long time. But of course, when I played it back on the PS4, I did lose those saves and stuff that, which felt like a bit annoying because I had like one file where I had gotten like a lot longer and stuff that, when I had done a lot of things and stuff that, when I, had more knowledge back then. But anyway, so they down to, I really like it. Of course, it took a long time until I finally got it, because of course, the Dying 2 has been out for quite some time. Maybe it's pretty crazy to think that it came out in 2023 and stuff that, And I gotten some of it, because a lot of the ones that I'm missing is non-story quests, and I've done 21 out of 40 so far. So I haven't even reached max level. Is there a trophy for max level? Yeah, I haven't. I'm 27 out of 29 because basically you get the trophy once you get level 30. So I go through the game without even getting to level 30, which is the final one, which is the final... what is it? Yeah. You get to Hollywood. No, but because that's not the last one. Or wasn't there one? I thought there was one for completing the campaign. Which is the one for... Yeah, or True Nature. I think this is the one that is the... I think that's the one because it's gold. I think our True Nature is the one that is the actual one you complete the campaign and stuff. That's, yeah. So, I mean, I do think that now I'm going into some of the DLC stuff and stuff that as well, so I've done some of the horse stuff and some of the solar stuff. I haven't gotten into New Game Plus yet and stuff that, because I want to try and finish as much as possible during only New Game Plus and stuff that before I go into New Game Plus. Because, supposedly, things are way more difficult, but I believe you will get better loot in New Game Plus, I'm pretty certain. Like almost like a Borderlands style, and stuff like that, because, And of course it was because, I played Jacob, was the first character I played with and stuff like that, and because of that I feel like that's one of the reasons why I enjoyed it so much, probably, most likely. I think the card system was like really, really good and stuff like that, and that's running on the Beach PS5. Yes. Did I put... Yeah, that was PS5 as well, the Delta one, yeah. And this is again a 100% Game of the Year 2025 list. I don't know if it's going to be a top 10, a top 20, or even higher and stuff like that, No, I'm not going to put Legacy of Kain because I already have it. Ace Attorney, I'm probably going to put the Ace Attorney Investigations Collection, which is actually only 2 games and stuff that, but it's a massive deal because yeah. I don't know if I would say 100% because I haven't even gone through the full yet of the first game, but I am on the final chapter of the first game and stuff that, which is the Turnabout Ablaze and stuff that, and it's just very, very special because the thing is you might have seen that there have been people that have done playthroughs of it and stuff that supposedly blind playthroughs of the investigation thing. But the thing is that the investigation was never available, I believe, outside of Japan. It wasn't even available in the US, I don't think. And stuff that, but it was actually available to people taking for emulator, they basically did a ROM hack or whatever, where there were people that were actually translated the Japanese version, I believe is what they did and stuff, that they translated the Japanese version, because I forgot if all of them were DS games or if one of them were a Game Boy Advance game, whatever, or if both of them were DS games and stuff that, because both investigation games were pretty crazy, because it's a bit different how it works. It's not like the whole courtroom thing except for kind of one of the other ones, like, so you like when you walk around and stuff that, you know, when you can actually see the sprites of the characters, and then you can use the old sprites, so you can use like the newer like remastered kind of sprites and stuff that, and it's actually really good, because of course the music is just amazing and stuff that. Now the Checkmate, I think, of course, will not happen until that's our second game future, I believe. And so that's because I am trying to go for all the trophies and stuff like that. And this I will be able to get on the final mission, the Lang she says, you know, with Agent Lang and all stuff that's, yeah. And then there's of course 5 chapters on the second game as well, so yeah. And they are kind of, both of the games are kind of connected and stuff like that. I forgot exactly when it takes place between and stuff like that, because yeah, you know, yeah. There's even one where you of course get, where you quote unquote go back in time also, there is a thing and stuff like that, yeah. Right, yeah, 6 games in the series technically, so yeah. And next up is the Evil News 2 World Domination on the PS5. And yeah, and you might remember that I did some short videos on it at first, just, you know, like a first impressions, and I did of course continue on playing it quite a bit and stuff like that, and it is quite addictive and stuff like that, and it just becomes so absolute crazy once you're able to like go across several more floors and stuff like that, because then you can have like way more cash and stuff like that. So yeah, so there's a billion trophy for having like 1 million and 1 million gold and stuff like that, so yeah. And one thing that I was stupid enough to try and do in the base, I tried to make the first area not be a cover area and not have like a casino at all and stuff like that. And I don't know if that's going to destroy my income or whatever, right, and stuff like that, you know, or if I'm just earning enough passive income and stuff like that, because there are other ways to get passive income rather than just having the total gambling place. Because basically when you enter the base, for example, you're supposed to have like a gambling operation and stuff like that to like make like passive money and stuff like that, and used to be like a front. But then instead I put a bunch of traps at the very entrance. And at first I tried to be like, oh, I'm instead going to make it so that there are some traps here, or so that it looks different, because I wanted it to look different at the very start. But then that made it so that I couldn't have like the casino there and stuff like that. So I had to like delete all of that stuff and stuff like that. So now I don't have any part of the casino at all. You know, and it would be cool if you could like relocate, so you used to have the casino somewhere else or whatever, right? But that of course wouldn't work, you know, so I don't know. Hopefully that won't mess up things in the future though, but yeah, you know. So there's a lot of trophies you can earn and stuff like that. There's a lot of trophies and stuff like that, so yeah, you know. So it's been really good. Now, of course, it came out already back in 2021 and stuff like that, but it's like really fun. I want to find more time, of course, to play it and stuff like that, so yeah. Then we have Metal Gear Solid Delta, because that's the Delta symbol. That's actually a symbol used in certain mathematics and stuff like that as well. Or in physics, rather. Yeah, Snake Eater. 5. And that I can say is 100% on the Game of the Year. Yeah. Game of the Year 2025 list. That's just 100%. So now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so 1. 1 with Live a Live. 2 with Gran Turismo 7. 3 with Delta Rune. 4 with Death Stranding 2, and 5 with... Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna have to do more than a top 10 already at this point, because otherwise if I have revealed more than half the list, then that feels like really bad. And rotate, of course. And I should have that is with the DLC, the Abyssal Terrors DLC. And yeah, there was a free local also co-op update that came out that had like 3 new classes. Maybe it's more than those 3 because sometimes they're on the trophies for all of the classes and stuff that like if you take all the classes that are here, for example, before the expansion, and even with the expansion, I forgot if these are all the expansion classes or if there were more than that and stuff that because yeah, so potato and be so terrors. See? And a PS5. And that again is going to be, another 100% game of the year 2025 list. Of course, I can already add this even though I haven't played it yet, and that is the Final Fantasy Tactics. And I think, what do you call it, semicolon. I forgot what it's called in the English and stuff that, but yeah. The Ivalice Chronicles. And yeah, for some reason you've already gotten the avatar and stuff that, even though the game is not out yet, stuff that, because that is the Ramsa one and stuff that. But I hope that there will be more than just those 2 avatars, because that feels like if the whole pre-order thing is like, oh, you get some avatars and then you will think like, okay, then you will get more avatars than just Ramsa and what is it, the Delita, I think it is. It's called, if I remember correctly, but yeah. Keep in mind, I even have the guide still for the the War of the Lions, because I had it on PSP and stuff that, and that was the first time. But technically not, because I did play it on a PS1 emulator back in the day and stuff that, because it didn't come out here in Europe at all. It only came out in the US and Japan and stuff that, so yeah. So when I played it on the PSP, of course, I thought it was pretty good, but of course, yes, the original game was pretty laggy and stuff that, and the PSP version had more slowdowns, I think, than supposedly the original had. And stuff that, and yeah. So, but then of course there are also a lot of people that's probably gonna be ruining the game for themselves, because there is a trick that you can do early on and stuff that, like you, I believe, I forgot exactly if it was a specific move you need to use, because I believe that for example, Ramsa can throw stones, and stuff that as part of the squire. And the thing is, throwing the stones don't do very much damage. So if you have some tanks, for example, if you have some tanky characters, basically you kind of want 1 or 2 knights, I think it is, or maybe you could used to it with 1 knight, whatever, because the knights are kind of the early tanks and stuff that, and you can basically just keep throwing stones at your apartments. You basically want to leave 1 enemy alive, an enemy that you don't know is not a threat, because there are certain enemies, of course, that will try and run away from you. They won't even try and kill you and stuff that. Certain enemies have that behavior, but you need to know, of course, what enemies do that behavior, and I believe it's usually like characters that can heal and stuff that, like chemists aren't often aggressive, if I remember correctly. Same thing kind of with white mages and certain other ones, because there are enemies that are dangerous to live alive. Or you can have, of course, certain status effect to just, make it so that the enemy doesn't do anything. But there are certain enemies that behave certain ways during certain missions, of course, stuff like that. So yeah. Is that gonna be it? Yeah, that's probably it so far. Unless I want to be adding the what do you call it? Unless I want to be adding the Dragon Age 3 Veilguard, because I do want to actually continue on playing that, but it does have pretty massive file size. So I did part 1, I did part 2, I did part 3. So but you can see it's up to part 14 there to finish the game. Or technically the next part, beat the odds and walked into the sunset, and stuff like that. Yeah. Because even though it has the whole, it has the whole woke thing as part of it and stuff that, it's still actually like gameplay-wise, it still has some fun stuff on it. And keep in mind that it was free via PlayStation Plus and stuff that, which is, yes, it's just a free game and stuff that, and of course, then it's okay to play and stuff that, I feel like, but yeah. Now, I might add the Grenades Veil Guard to it. But that is, of course, if I end up playing more of it and stuff that, if I manage to find time to do it and stuff that, because yeah, it's all about finding the time. Now on the oh no, oh look at it, nah, that's a parody song, no, 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 no. Because it's a parody of the I Am Weasel, which is actually part of the Cartoon Network, because the old Cow and Chicken episodes, and then because basically the way the Cow and Chicken episodes worked is that each episode was basically 2 episodes of Cow and Chicken, and the final episode was always the I Am Weasel and stuff that, and that's a parody of that, so yeah, because we had to change the lyrics and stuff that, so, so that's pretty funny. Did I get any Steam games this year? I forgot when did I get or did I have that on the previous list? I need to double check that again. I need to use double check if I have the... Did I have the game on here? Because, it wouldn't be a retro game, I don't think. It wouldn't be a retro game, I don't think. But nah. I haven't even gotten the Pirate Queue, so I haven't gotten the Tomb Raider, the more of the remasters yet, so yeah. Yeah, so I didn't get it the previous year, so I must have gotten it this year, right? Because that would be a mistake if I didn't even put it in any of the categories here. Then that would have been really, really bad. Or maybe I did get it previously, but then I even forgot to have it in one of the categories here and stuff like that, so yeah. So maybe I would have to put it on this year instead. Because yeah, I'm pretty certain that I got it previous year. I'm just gonna update Steam here. And stuff like that, because I need to find out when I got the Iron Fury, because the first game was called, not Iron Fury, the first game was called Iron something else. Right, Phantom Fury is what the second one is called. Yeah, last played May 2024, so we did get it previous year. But yeah, so why didn't I have it on the 2024 list? I'm trying to think. Or I do think I had it on the initial list at first. But then of course I got stressed out because I had lost all the files, all the text I done for a bunch of stuff and stuff that I had planned to do. Stuff that then I had way more categories. First I had best ongoing game, role-playing game here. I had some of these categories still. But then I had FPS, I had I had more than also only the retro games here, because for example, some of these retro games, for example, Half-Life 2 or Half-Life Original Trilogy and stuff like that, I had those individually as well and stuff like that, so yeah, because all of these Half-Life 2, Half-Life Blue Shift and Opposing Force, those were actually free during a certain time, so I did manage to get them for free. But I did get Civilization 6 this year and stuff like that, so yeah. I've only put 14.1 hours into it so far. That's only from, I think that's used from 3 play sessions. I've only played it 3 times. I played it 14.1 hours. So, that is something, and stuff like that, so yeah. Because Civilization 6 was worth it. I managed to get it when it was pretty heavily price reduced, and then it came with absolutely everything. and stuff that. So I need to add seed. Seed. Yeah. Right. Do I have both text open? No. I'm just double checking. Best ongoing game. Best role-playing game. Best fighting game. Best action game. Best sports game. Best story-driven game. Best anticipated game. And then let's say YouTube thing. Best retro game and then game of the year. Yeah. And I forgot to even have the Phantom Fury there. So Sid, my mayor's Civilization 6. I don't know if I need to add that it's called Leader Pass. Maybe that's just a later like thing or whatever it is. I forgot exactly what the version is that I got, what it was called and stuff, but yeah. Can I check the achievement somewhere? Yeah, there we go. Name a unit, receive blah blah blah. Because there's a lot of like very specific things that you can get. That is very annoying to try and specifically go for certain achievements, right? Unless you like just write down what the list is and stuff that, because yeah, there's just a lot to the game and stuff that. And like if you get like the more like expensive version or whatever, right? For this game, it came out during 2016, which is actually pretty insane. That was released 2016, and then they kept like adding more and more stuff to it, you know, and stuff that's, yeah. Right, you can see like DLC here, for example, for it, and yeah. Rise and Fall, the Walking Scenario, and stuff that, and it's like, yeah. And I have all of it there, as you can see. I forgot what it was called. Was it called a Gold Edition or whatever it was? I forgot what the version was called exactly, so yeah, you know. Because sure, it was like really expensive and stuff that, but it had like basically everything and stuff that, like there was a version and stuff that, and it was heavily price reduced, because otherwise it would have been like ridiculous expensive and stuff that, so yeah. And that is on PC, of course. And I'm gonna add the Phantom Fury as well, even though that was 2024. Phantom Fury PC, and it kind of made me regret getting the Iron Fury on. Yeah, I'm gonna put that in here. It's sequel to Iron Fury, and the character Bombshell. Okay, the Bombshell was originally, I believe, supposed to be in Nuke Forever, like the old version of the game. When it was still Quake 2 engine, I believe it was first. Later switched to Unreal 1 engine. Or Unreal Engine specifically. Same engine as the first Unreal game. Yeah. Being Duke Nukem Forever, like the old version of the game, or it was the Quake 2 engine, later switched to Unreal Engine specifically. Same, yeah, as the first Unreal game. And of course, you know, like the other things happen, you know, and stuff like that, because yeah, I still have Duke Nukem Forever here. and stuff that, you know. I forgot, yeah, and I did finish it and stuff that because, yeah, I still have my box somewhere of it and stuff that, yeah, you know. Vampire Survivors, have you gotten the latest patch yet, or is that still only in the beta thing? Yeah. Because there's a public beta that started August 29th, stuff like that, but yeah. We did get that DLC this year, right? Not the Octopath, what is this called? The Emerald Diorama. Emerald Diorama, huh? What was the Emerald Diorama then? Because that cannot be correct. Because the first one was like a movie spell, and the title of the thing. But why does it say that Emerald Diorama is? Because that is wrong. These two are correct that was 2024. And this is correct that this was the first, and then it took a year for the Foscari one to come out. Because first it was Legacy of the Moonspell, then it was titled the Foscari, and then after that, of course, they did Emergency Meeting, and then they did the Operation Guns, and then they did the old Castlevania, and then they did Emerald Diorama. This is completely wrong, otherwise it's saying 2022, and stuff like that is just weird. Yeah, Emerald Diorama released 20th of April 2025. Yeah, released 10th of April 2025, yeah, so, yeah, you know. So, that's gonna have a little bit of a break there. I will probably do more breaks in the text here just to, you know, make it cleaner to look like. And then, of course, so Vampire Survivors. So there might, of course, be another DLC then if we looked at what when they were released and stuff that, you know. As I said, it is weird though that this shows the exactly wrong date because I said it is April. It's 10th of April 2025. 10th of April 2025 was Emerald Diorama DLC. Now, of course, if you think about it, like, of course, like, if the reason why there wasn't 2 DLCs during 2022 is, of course, because Legacy of the Moonspell. Yeah, that was 10th of April 2025. So 10th of April. Yeah, because I'm always like so that you know that it's with the deals in mind, and that's going to be 100% on the year 2025 list. Because if you look at it, for example, like if you look at the things again, if we look at the list again, so the yeah, so if you look at it, Vampire Legacy of the Moonspell was the first DLC, of course, which was the one that was Japanese inspired, and that was in the late December, so that's why there couldn't be 2 DLCs that year. And then, of course, the next year in April, we had the Tides of the Foscari, which was more like D&D inspired, because there was obviously a character that was meant to be like, you know, like the whole, you know, like the whole warrior, spellcaster, ranger, and stuff that, you know. Although I forgot who the warrior character was supposed to be, but yeah. And of course, after that, later in that month, we had the emergency meeting, which was in December of 2023, and then of course, during the next year, early in May, we had the the Vampire Survivors Operation Gowns, and then Castlevania was not until November 4th of 2024, so considering then that the Vampire Survivors Emerald Diorama was in April, just like title for Scar, then maybe December or November there might be something else, maybe, you know. Maybe a new DLC in November/December. Was it release dates of previous DLC? Yeah. Although I have no idea if it's then going to be another crossover or if it's going to be something else. And stuff that, you know, I don't know if that developer had said that he was a fan of a certain game and stuff that, because yeah, you know, that could be an Undertale or Deltarune crossover. I don't know, I forgot if he said that he had like tried out or if he had enjoyed those games or whatever, you know. But yeah, is there something else now? That was the previous year and stuff that. And it's not correct, I have actually more play hours than this and stuff that, you know, and stuff that, because sometimes it actually shows wrong and stuff that for whatever weird reason and stuff that, because it was, yeah. I'm trying to think, was there something else I did get this year that I did play, but now because I did get the Lord of the Rings was, yeah, 2023 was last I played it, so yeah. But then of course I know that there are a lot of more Vampire Survivor-esque games that I could get that are like only PC and stuff there, which is a bit annoying of course as well, but yeah, those are the games so far. Yeah, those are the games so far. So that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 7. 100% Game of the Year 2025 list so far as of 27th of September 2025. Yeah. Yeah, so 7. Can we split it out? 7 100% Game of the Year. Yeah, so Live, Gran Turismo 7, Deltarune, Death Stranding 2, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, Rotato and Abyssal Terrors DLC, and then Vampire Survivors and all the DLC and stuff like that, yeah. But you know, considering like Emerald Diorama was 10th of April 2025, that might be, you know, I mean the update could be huge, the whole like playing with other people, except like from like what I hope there will be is that you could just have random people join if you just leave it open, if you don't like password protect your game or whatever, so that you get kind of like how in Counter-Strike you will get like a list of servers and stuff that, you know, or games or whatever, right? And then like anyone could join or whatever, right? But yeah. But it seems to really need some explanation, because I remember seeing the X play it and stuff that, and it was really confusing and stuff that, you know. A bit like, okay, like what mattered, like because you could like evolve weapons that you didn't have the passives for through other people having certain passives, but then sometimes you will pick up a chest and then that chest that you picked up wasn't for you, it was for someone else. And then that's like really weird, like what it decides, like stuff like that, because it could feel like really frustrating, or I really need to upgrade this, of course, but it's supposed to be co-op, and stuff like that, because But unlike co-op, could be huge and stuff like that. Hopefully they won't do a bunch of like, let's make a bunch of like achievements that are specifically like for co-op and stuff like that, because that would feel pretty bad, but yeah. But there are of course a lot of crossover still. I would like to see, the crossover that I constantly talk about. The whole, you have the Vampire Survivor one that you might remember that I did, the Resident Evil Raccoon City Survivors, inspired by Vampire Survivors, and that's the copyright by Xenoxis. And stuff that, and then I did another one, which was the second one I did, and I kind of took the stuff from the previous one and I resized it, but so I haven't like, this isn't finished yet. It's not going to be like the whole where it's black here. It's going to be the other color and stuff that, and I'm going to have like Il Tato Valentine, and then I will probably like resize this to be like smaller, this text and stuff that, and then I'd add some more characters and stuff that. And I know that it looks a bit weird because I tried to have the black outline at first, but then it started looking weird and stuff that, because it's just, you have to use certain paintbrush sizes and stuff that, because So because I want to add more, and I used this as a base. So I used this as a base, and from that I created this stuff that's I don't know that this should probably have the Stars logo on her cap. I forgot if she had the Stars logo technically on the cap, or if there was another logo that she had on the cap or whatever, right? So because technically, I mean, like she has brown hair, but she has like the more auburn, like more reddish brown hair, whatever you want to call it. But so there's something. Right, and I was in this, And there's the Evil Genius one that I made, a custom thumbnail. That I didn't create that one immediately. It took a while to actually create and stuff that. And it's not technically 100% done. I could like try and like change how the earth looks here as well. And they keep some original colors in. There were some colors I didn't modify from like the original picture that I used and stuff like that. But I thought about changing the purple background, but I thought that purple background like fitted like really, really well and stuff like that. Like I haven't bothered doing the arms yet, or this arm here. Or I guess this is is this supposed to be an extra finger here? I think this is supposed to be a finger that goes right here. If you can see where the mouse pointer is, and I think there's one more finger here, maybe. Because I think that's not a reflection of this part of an arm here. And stuff like that, but because And I didn't bother with the mouth here either, and I did leave some other things in, like this chin part or lower part here I left as the default and stuff like that, because Anyway, that's probably gonna be it so far and stuff that, and that's gonna be it so far. And I never ended up using this here because I could have made way better weapons and stuff that, like, because you craft 6 stone knives and that's bone plus hard rock, 2 times leather straps because that's stone knife and pelt, and then 1 fury knife. Fertility charm, 1 wild heart armor, 1 wild heart dress, quick spear, bang gloves, or 2 bang gloves, 1 bearskin cap, 2 life max, and 8 rough bands and stuff that, right? So to make all the items you need 15 bones, 10 beast horns, 9 hard rocks, 5 dried skins, 4 belts, 1 stick. But when I did the prehistoric in Live Alive, I actually didn't do. I did some of the items I did, but the game doesn't tell you what all of the items is. The game only tells you about certain of the items and stuff that. So I thought I had really good gear, but then for the female character I couldn't use any gear for a really, really long time and stuff that. And then I ended up having like way worse gear on the main character and stuff that than I should have, which made certain bosses like really, really annoying. Like I had to use like runaway strategy and stuff that, and stuff that. That's something that actually makes it really interesting, that you can abuse the fact that certain moves doesn't hit absolutely everywhere, so you can kind of avoid moves by going into certain location, and like status effects are like super important and stuff like that. So because it kind of has like a grid system, so you can like see where certain moves are gonna hit and stuff that, you know, and that's really, really cool and stuff, because yeah. So those are the games so far. So how many candidates is there in total? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, technically this would be a lot of games if I would count each individually. I could have counted this as a trilogy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. 25 candidates total so far. Remember, there has been a bunch of really good PS Plus essential games. PS Plus essential games. Yeah, because it's basically like, yeah, free games and stuff that it's been a bunch of really good PS Plus. Just haven't had time to play them yet. Robocop. Play the demo back in the day. Rogue City, Lies of P. Played the demo. Oh, and I do remember really liking the demo, both Robocop Rogue City and the other thing there. So we should probably do it like this. 25 candidates total, and then like that. Lies of P. Warhammer. Huh? Okay, that's weird. Warhammer 40k Boltgun, I think is what it's called. Which I haven't played a demo of. I forgot if there was a demo for that or not. Now I'm uncertain about the rest. Is there a list? Is there a list online? All PS Plus essential games. Okay. This is going to be the full list. January to September. Yeah, there is, like, you would think that there would be a list. Are those the ones? There were more than those, though. I know those are the September games, like Stardew Valley, I cannot still be finder. Okay, and in August you had Liza P. They said Liza P, my one Heroes One Justice before you sent the KoFXV 15. Which I didn't get that when it was free, of course, and I was a bit sad, of course, that I'd already gotten it. Alone in the Dark I haven't played yet, because that is the remake, I believe. Yeah, so I need to add that. Or at least this, so you can know some of the good, like really good stuff. Alone in the Dark. One more sharp thing was that, but I had already gotten that before, you know, so yeah. Balatro is of course another insane game and stuff that, so yeah, so you know, there are all like a bunch that I haven't played yet and stuff that, so yeah, Warhammer 40k, yeah. Warhammer 40,000 used. But I'm calling it 40k there because that sounds more correct. Yeah, Robocop Rogue City. Yeah, Rogue City, yeah, Sonic Colors Ultimate was called parts of their PS3 Plus. Which I had played, of course, actually. Yeah, Pac Man World Re-Pac. Pac Man World Re-Pac. Alone in the Dark, I'm pretty certain is the remake of the very first Alone in the Dark, if I remember correctly, or like a remaster, or whatever you want to call it. Stuff that, what else? Oh wow, they have even lists further back. That's pretty crazy. They have lists going into like 20, like how long? How far back? Okay, back to September 2022 at least. And I'm guessing some of those aren't essentials. Yeah, that was... No. Wow, they actually had some PS3 games back in September 2022. Because I don't have the Sly collection, of course. Or the Sly Cooper games. But I'm pretty certain I was a member back then. And stuff that on PlayStation Plus, so why didn't I receive those games? Or maybe those were specifically... Maybe you specifically had to still be on the PlayStation 3 back then, and I probably already had a PS4, so you couldn't get the PS3 games. Or whatever, if I remember correctly, but yeah. Oh, that was the premium, yeah. Those were to the premium ones. Here are the ones where it stopped here. And stuff that, because yeah, right. Huh? Oh. No, that's PlayStation Plus Extras, yeah. So it's this one, this is where it starts. Yeah, PlayStation Plus Essentials, yeah. Then you go back here. Sen there have been months sometimes where I didn't like resubscribe back in time and stuff that, you know, so there were certain games that I ended up missing, and so sometimes I didn't log in for a really long time, and there were like a lot of games that I ended up missing and stuff that, you know, sometimes, but yeah. So yeah. And of course this month, by the way, this month, well, I'm gonna 100% make sure that I do play this, because it's Alan Wake 2 basically. So you know. And stuff that there are some other ones at least that are like really good that came out this year. And Alan Wake is actually one of the October games. So yeah. There have been lots of really good PlayStation Plus games, yeah. And of course, it is a bit sad, of course, that, for example, that one of the games that got released was KoFXV 15, and then, of course, I ended up getting 15 this year, but that wasn't via... not via PS Plus Essential, so I did like bad timing because I got it earlier during the year and stuff that, you know, so, you know. Like, can I get the PS trophies again? Can I check what date it was when I got the first trophy in that? King of Fighters 15. There you are. First trophy was 30th of January was first trophy. Yeah, 30th of January was the first trophy. And stuff that. But because I cannot see like technically a first trophy. Because they don't take like, okay, like when did you... They don't take like, okay, when did you first start playing the game and stuff like that, because yeah. And it wasn't until like April, right, that it was until like a free thing. So yeah. And yeah, so then we do this. Add a dot there, and then we do this, Robocop Rogue City. There's a P. 140k Boltgun. Alone in the Dark. Remake of the Balatro, of course. Which I'm pretty certain that I would like, because it's technically like a roguelike card game, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so Robocop Rogue City, Liza P, 140k Boltgun, Alone in the Dark, Balatro, Pac Man World, Re-Pac. Because I believe the Pac Man World is the one that was on PlayStation. The first one, because I'm pretty certain that I played the demo of that, and I did knew the demo back in the day. You have to realize how crazy the demo discs was back in the day, because first off there was an official PlayStation magazine that had the demo discs. But then there was also another magazine here in Sweden, at least. It was called Superpower at first. I forgot when during the 90s the first issue was, if it was 92 or if it's not 93 when the first issue came out of Superpower. And then 96 or 97 they changed into becoming Superplay and stuff like that. And yeah, I can show you the website again here. What do you call it? Here. That's the very first issue of Superplay in 1996, and it costed 34.50 Swedish kronor. All of these are in Swedish, all of these magazines, right? So if you want to copy the address, I don't know if you can access it if you're from other countries or not, but yeah. There's the Tomb Raider 1, there's when Tomb Raider 1 came out here. And stuff like that, there's Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that, and you can see some of the covers and stuff like that, you know. And there's someone from the actual team, from the original team, I believe, that worked on the magazine that are actually they're doing the issues and stuff like that, so yeah. That was an expensive issue there for the June issue there. That was costing 59 instead. But that was of course because it was a PlayStation CD part a bit. But what I mean with the PlayStation CD, that's basically saying like, oh, that's with the demo discs. That was the first one with the demo disc. Right, and that one, the September issue had a demo disc. And they showed the demo disc here, that's Porsche Challenge, Macro Machines VR3, Excalibur something, and Monster Trucks. And that's and they actually say if you like read the magazine and stuff, that's yeah. So it was 4 Monsters, so that was the November, that was with the Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, that was absolutely cracked demo disc on this one. I need to deactivate the dark reader here, because otherwise the colors would be wrong. But for example, there is a section in the gaming magazine here. There is a section here that is like with... it was towards the end of the magazine, that's where they went over, there's Crash Bandicoot 2 and 88 in score there. Grand Theft Auto 1, Sonic R, Sonic 3, Sonic 4, Sonic 5, Sonic 6, Sonic 7, Sonic 8, Sonic 9, Sonic 10, Sonic 11, Sonic 12, Sonic 13, Sonic 14, Sonic 15, Sonic 16, Sonic 17, Sonic 18, Sonic 19, Sonic 20, Sonic 21, Sonic 22, Sonic 23, Sonic 24, Sonic 25, Sonic 26, Sonic 27, Sonic 28, Sonic 29, Sonic 30, Sonic 31, Sonic 32, Sonic 33, Sonic 34, Sonic 35, Sonic 36, Sonic 37, Sonic 38, Sonic 39, Sonic 40, Sonic 41, Sonic 42, Sonic 43, Sonic 44, Sonic 45, Sonic 46, Sonic 47, Sonic 48, Sonic 49, Sonic 50, Sonic 51, Sonic 52, Sonic 53 And they actually gave Sonic a really good score back in the day. Then back down, yeah, there's Harvest Moon there, Super SNES. That's their first Harvest Moon, right? Yeah. Dun 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 bum 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 bum. Yeah, there's the demo disc. Yeah, because it was cracked, and some. Here's the thing: this word here, rule on the demo. That means that it's just a trailer. It's not a playable demo. So for the Final Fantasy VII, used 1 month after the Final Fantasy VII issue was, they had a rolling demo for Final Fantasy VII. Tomb Raider 2 had a playable demo, Spellbar demo, Colony Wars playable demo, Pokémon Sword 2 playable demo, Overboard playable demo, Machine Hunter playable demo, Ace Combat 2 playable demo, and Between the Eyes playable demo. So, so it had a lot of, it was pretty correct and stuff that, so, and if you had bought a magazine without the CD, you could or just order the CD itself and stuff that, and you can see it says PAL on that, so it doesn't work on a US system, so yeah. So that was pretty crazy. And then of course the demo disc started becoming more, or I forgot if it was at a certain point where they didn't even have the demo disc spelled out, because they started having demo discs in every single magazine. I think they did that because here for example, you can clearly see the demo disc showing there on the thing. I forgot if it was then in 98 where they used have it in every single issue, because here it doesn't say here. It doesn't show the disc. But I'm pretty certain that if we check the January here, I'm pretty certain it actually had the demo discs. I'm pretty certain that all the issues had the demo discs at that point. Or maybe they didn't. No. Huh. Because I do remember they had the demo disc for a pretty long time and stuff that. Många cheat codes. I have cheat codes here, but you have it in Swedish here. To come to the last stages on the 5th world, and to get access to all the secrets, left, down, right, left, down, right, down, left, up, and then right. Yeah, you had so much stuff. When they showed off Alondra there actually and stuff, that was pretty cool as well, so yeah. And there was one place that had sometimes had stuff that was import specifically and stuff that. So I believe that version there, so there, yeah, there was the American flag ones that you had to import, so you had to multi-X ship the console and ensure that was a cheap version of it, but you would actually lose your warranty on the console if you got a multi-X chip. I never did end up getting a multi-X chip, but I was still able to play American games, although I only ever got one American game for it and stuff that. And you had to have the thick PlayStation. You had to have you just have to have the base, this stuff that, not the smaller one, the PS1, which is a different console and stuff that. But yeah, but otherwise, for example, 1,000 Swedish kronor for the multi-X chip. Or that is if they buy it, but if you want to buy it, then it's 1,700 for a multi-X chip. But there was a lot of games where you might think that, oh, look at those game prices. Those games aren't expensive at all. And stuff that you can see some of the N64 passes, 649 Swedish kronor, that would be a 64 or 65 US dollar game. Basically comparable to stuff that, so, but then a lot of games, especially if a certain place sold Super Nintendo games, for example, certain of the prices might look really cheap, but then certain places, basically, they didn't even put out the MOMS, which is basically the extra tax upon a game, and here in Sweden we pay quite a lot of the extra tax on certain games, and then there were also certain places that had very, very expensive when you ordered on it. Even if you ordered just a few games, you would have to pay a lot extra to have the game shipped and stuff like that. And certain places looked like the games were cheap, but then of course, if you have wanted to mail order, then it was like really, really expensive certain places, so yeah. That is something to keep in mind. Because you can just look here if you use the dark reader. Now, the dark reader is good because you can make certain websites that normally isn't dark, you can make them dark and stuff like that, which is why the dark reader is something I used to recommend, because it's very annoying when you watch like a lot of podcasts and stuff like that, or when you watch a show or a live show or whatever, right? And then they're reading news from certain websites, and then it's just like super, super bright and stuff like that, So that, and then like, why? Because I'm pretty certain that dark reader exists for several different web browsers, not just for a single web browser. I'm pretty certain that it exists for like a lot of different web browsers and stuff like that. Oh, and I know that I could add. We could have also added Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, not the GoTY version, but the PlayStation version. So if that, because the fact that you can change in those, the fact that I could change and change it into the PAL version of the game, which runs slower because PAL games 50 Hz, NTSC, which is the American one, and stuff like that runs at 60 Hz. And I believe the Japanese games also run at 60 Hz and stuff like that, because yeah. So for example, if you got the PlayStation Classic, for example, which I never got, or if you go to PlayStation Classic, because a lot of people go to PlayStation Classic and then they complain about the game like, oh my god, why is Tekken 3 running super slow? Yeah, because it was the PAL version of Tekken 3 and stuff like that. So that was the version that we were used to here in Europe and stuff like that, So probably also people from Europe, if they go to PlayStation, or if they got the mini PlayStation or the PlayStation Classic or whatever, they probably enjoyed it if you were from the European region and stuff like that, because yeah. But of course I had the American version of the Resident Evil 3 and stuff like that, because yeah. And stuff like that, but yeah. So we could add, like maybe like Resident Evil 2 PS Classic. And that's on PS5. Resident 3 PS Classic on PS5, or Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, technically. But it's also known as Last. I can just adding that here. Biohazard 3. Is it Last Escape or is it The Last Escape? Last Escape. Or The Last Escape. Because it wasn't called Biohazard 3 Nemesis. It was actually called... Was it with Biohazard 3 and the Nemesis in the title? Because I know that the American version had the whole Nemesis in the title and stuff like that. It was just called that in the Asian regions there, and stuff like that, yeah. So that would bring it up to 27 candidates. Yeah. I think those are worth adding, actually, and stuff like that. Those are definitely worth adding. Can switch between NTCS and PAL version to game. So USA and EU version of the game. And stuff like that, yeah. And PAL is also what they had in the UK, and I believe they actually also have PAL in Australia, which is a bit weird with how that works and stuff that they have the PAL. I'm pretty certain they have the PAL region in it, but sometimes also you could get Japanese games in the in the Australia region. I believe they did sell Japanese consoles in the Australia region. That wasn't just PAL stuff and stuff like that, but maybe I'm misremembering and stuff like that, because yeah. But yeah, it's absolutely huge, so you can switch between the versions. I'm pretty certain you could switch between the version in the GOG version, but in the GOG version, I believe you had to actually install it separately. You had to install like the American version, which is the standard one, which is the PCs based on the American version. But then you could install the Biohazard version of it. And I believe you could also install the European, the more PAL version of it and stuff like that, because yeah. But yeah, and I thought they ran slow, of course, because both on the PS2, on Resident Evil 2 and on the Resident Evil 3, I'm doing a PAL run on both of them, which is quite different. And I still need to finish up and I'm doing both a Leon run and a Claire run for the Resident Evil 2 and stuff like that, because yeah. I do both a Leon A and a Claire A, and I'm gonna have both because I'm keeping those files separate, because that just makes it easier if I'm gonna try and unlock Hunk or not, but I haven't decided yet. Because I was never super good at Resident Evil 2, and stuff like that, 3 was easier to kind of be good at, and stuff like that, Because sometimes you could just get you just get lucky, stuff like that, because sometimes the puzzle, sometimes the beep, beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. Because sometimes that had very, very few steps on it to get it correct. Because basically it's like, if you just think about it logically, you can figure out what the symbol is going to look like, because basically you're just stacking the things on top of each other. So it's like 100% like logic in that puzzle, because it's not like it's random and stuff that. Yeah, there can be a lot of different patterns you can get, which is the solution and stuff like that. But then basically you can see if I had this amount of dots, it would be this high. For example, if you have 3 dots on the very, very left side, for example, those 3 dots are then going to be like 3 dots high, basically, and stuff like that. So you can figure it out what it's going to look like and stuff like that, kinda. If you know kinda the distance between everything and stuff like that, you can visualize and stuff like that, because yeah. But yeah, so Alan Wake is one of the October essential games and stuff like that, because yeah. Because Lies of P, I did enjoy the demo and stuff like that. And Lies of P was of course Dark Souls-esque and stuff like that. And I forgot if there were I think there were boss weapons in that, but I forgot exactly if it was to kill a boss in a specific way, because I do remember going with a slow weapon. I think I went with whatever, and stuff like that, yeah. Because Lies of P is really good. Robocop Rogues, I enjoyed both the demo of that and the other thing. Boltgun I know is pretty short and stuff like that, so yeah, So there are sometimes a bunch of great PlayStation Plus games that you're just missing because you didn't play them and stuff like that, because yeah. Anyway, so this has been the Xenoxis show for the 27th of September 2025. And yeah, and those are the candidates so far. And again, as I've said, 7 games that are guaranteed on the 2025 list so far. And stuff like that. 27 candidates so far as well, so yeah. So there are a bunch of more that could get added, but yeah, but as I said, Final Fantasy Tactics, that was just very, very obvious, and stuff like that was just a very obvious thing. Stuff like that, Because it's just that I know how much I know the PSP version of the game and stuff like that, But yeah. The question is how many people are gonna, because I feel like if you abuse the whole thing with getting Rams at a very high level, you can get him to level 99. But then it's not technically that you're getting his actual level to 99, it's actually that you get his squire to level 99. And there's a trick also that allows you to, I think it is that once you reach a certain amount of job points, then earning job points for other jobs or something like that becomes harder or something like that. But then there's a way to kind of reset down the level that you can actually use. I believe there is a skill, like a level down skill or whatever, and you can actually use it on your own characters and stuff like that, and then you could, level down a job and then you can earn even more job points and stuff like that. But I'm pretty certain that your points, of course, don't carry over from other jobs and stuff like that, but yeah, it's, still. So there are ways you can break the game and stuff like that, because because there's a lot of like hitting your own units and stuff like that. But then of course if a certain battle goes a certain way, for example, like there are certain guest characters of course control themselves automatically, but certain guest characters are very powerful. And they might steal like XP from your characters that are very, very important and stuff like that, you know. But there are of course certain guest characters that are just insanely powerful and stuff like that, because yeah. The question is how many of the characters have been nerfed, like has Orlando been nerfed? Orlando is the Sword Saint, right? Because there's a very, very strong Sword Saint in the game. There's a very strong like Holy Knight. I think it's Agrias, right? It's the Holy Knight. I still have the guidebook actually and stuff like that, and it went over the different classes and then like stick combinations, because there are certain class combinations which you can do which are absolutely insane to do and stuff like that. And I'm guessing it's also changing the whole mathematics, because there's a way to break the game by using calculor. Because basically you can use numbers and you can use the, what is it, Artemisian, right? That uses the whole, you use math or whatever it is. And there's a way to break the games, and I believe that is what speedrunners use. Is that specific class, but yeah. I haven't decided exactly how many characters I'm going to try and do, because of course the thing in Tactics is you don't have super much money, so you have to think about what characters you get gear for. And of course you don't want all characters to be tanks, for example, because it is very, very similar to how in Final Fantasy 12 light gear gives you like more HP and stuff that like gives you actual HP increases if you wear light gear. If you wear, for example, leather style gear. I forgot if it was the whole thing with how you had both light gear, mystic gear, like in Final Fantasy 12. Although I don't think it gets separate, it doesn't get called mystic gear, but I believe the spellcasting gear gives you like increases to magic and stuff like that. And then it also gives you some HP, I think, but it doesn't give as much HP as having like light armor and stuff like that. And then heavy armor gives you not HP increases, but it gives you other things. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll see you all next time.